What is up, you guys? Hello, hello, hello. For all those who are joining, welcome to Sisters Talk TV. My name is Sin. I'm one half of Sisters Talk TV. You guys know what we're going to be talking about in this video. You see the title, and you also see the pictures. You guys already know we're going to be discussing. Hey, Evelyn Torrance. Hey guys. Hey everyone. Hey everyone who's joining. Yeah, so we're going to be this. So we're going to be talking about. So before we get started, please make sure you like this video. Please make sure you also subscribe to our channel. Look, we're almost there. We're about to hit our goal. We're at 977. So we're super close to 1,000 subscribers. So we're going to be talking all about Monica breaking her silence and some of the things that we took note of while we were watching the interview. So we were taking notes of body language, everything. So just stay tuned. Hey everyone. Hey TLC. Hi Lisa. Hi, Deborah. Impress 61 UK in the building. Hi, Anna. Hi, everyone. Yes, please make sure you like and subscribe. We're so close to hitting our goal. We're so close. So we also, once again, I'm Sin. I'm one half of Sisters Talk TV, and we also have Lucy.
Hey everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope your afternoon is doing great as well. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're just gonna pick up from where we left off yesterday. As we all know, we know why we're all here, right? The all about the tea saga, or the whole mess that's been going on with All About the Tea. So we all know yesterday that Monica did come out and she did break her silence. She came out to speak, and what I would say in a more of an interview sort of setup. She had Dr. Griffin with her to join her, and it was more so of like an interview. Questions were asked, and Monica basically responded to those questions that Dr. Griffin was asking her. So there was some things that was said, in regards to Monica, and I just want to say this disclaimer. We do have a disclaimer, and a lot of these things that was said, all is not. It's just our opinions, and also is not meant to be taken to the heart. So yes, that's just this disclaimer that we're gonna put out there. So Sin, what are some things that you, with that interview, and if you can start with a summary or just some things that you noticed from that interview? Because I think that we all have a lot, because I know I have a lot to really pinpoint.
Yes, I have some few things I wanted to just add, and let me know what you guys think. So yes, we possibly will be hitting our goal today. So hopefully, we're so close to our goal, 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you're liking, you're subscribing as well. Okay, so of course, Monica, guys, she broke her silence. Like we've all been wondering, like, well, when is Monica gonna say something? It's almost been almost a week since this whole thing has been happening. So yesterday she decided to go on her own platform and have her own sit down. I guess you would kind of call it a sit down with Dr. Griffin. If you guys remember Dr. Griffin, she was the lady that was the alleged girlfriend of Jamal Bryant. You guys remember from Potomac? She's been on there before. Her and Monica, I think they're actually really good friends. So she um, had her interview. Monica had Dr. Griffin interview her. So a few things I noted. One, um, Dr. Griffin said Plez's full name. Why can't you just call her Plez? So that's one thing. So just keep that in mind. She did say Plez's full name. All the comments were shut off. It was only members only that can comment. And another thing was Dr. Griffin, to me, I felt she looked kind of uncomfortable. Dr. Griffin looked a little bit uncomfortable. Um, Body language, you guys know, they always say body language speaks a lot. And it was it was just like she looked uncomfortable. It looked like she was reading off of something. I'm not too sure if she was reading off of something, but she just looked uncomfortable. So of course she starts interviewing Monica and say, "We have Monica, the Monica, owner of All About the Tea." And Monica comes in, "Hey everybody, you guys know Monica's voice." So Monica, she actually comes in and pretty much they start discussing. So I think that the synopsis that they were all trying to get at, they were trying to paint Ples as a disgruntled employee. That's what I want to say. That's what now I think that is what that's what they said, but I think that's what they said. Yes, I'm sorry. She did say CEO, CEO, all about the tea. Absolutely, Evelyn. Yeah, so they tried to paint Plaz as a disgruntled employee. So those are the few things I noted. Anything else, Lucy? Do you think that we also need to mention as well?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So like you said, I did notice that in I think this is when I first went in to actually look at it, the live, I did notice it was member only. It was only open to members only. So that means that you cannot troll. If you are not a member, you cannot troll. And if you are not a member, you cannot comment. So only members and the teacups were only allowed to comment. So another thing that I noticed was, of course, the Dr. Griffin. She was there, and I wasn't expecting that Monica would go live with someone, and I would just, in my own opinion, it looked like it was scripted, um, and it was more so of an interview. And again, it looked like the interview for me looked like it was more favorable to Monica than it was just kind of like accessing the whole situation. So I think for me, what I was expecting was to see that Monica came out and just took accountability and possibly apologize and just kind of tell exactly what happened between her and Ples, or possibly the whole entire panel. So I don't think that I got that, or a lot of us got that. I think that it was more so of her her trying to clear her name possibly. And well, I don't want to say clear her name, but um make it favorable to her, I would say. I think the and make the kind of shift the narrative a little bit. Um, Another thing that I noticed was that a lot of this was also mentioned, when Ples went live, she said that a lot of comments that was favorable to her was deleted. And I also saw in a live yesterday that the moderators were also deleting comments, which kind of, when I put two and two together, I'm just like, okay, this could possibly be true. And like, was confirming what Ples was basically saying. So that was interesting to know. Now, Monica was asked when Dr. Griffin she did ask her, or Monica did address about the deleting of the comments, and she was basically saying that her moderators, she didn't tell her moderators to do that. That her moderators feel like if there's a comment where she feels like it's unfair, that one person is getting all the likes or all the favorable comments and stuff, and others are not. It just seems somehow. So she said that that's why they were deleted. But as far as her having being a part of it, um, she said no, she did not. That was not it. So she did make a comment about that, which I thought was interesting. Again, Perez didn't mention that, and to be quite honest with you, it did not help Monica. What she said did not help her, because I didn't understand that. I didn't understand how moderators are deleting comments. I thought that when you're moderating, it's clear that the disrespectful comments, or if you're being rude, I can understand that you would delete that. But when you're talking about, you're giving compliments to a panel member, and you're quote unquote trying to help them grow, I mean, wouldn't you want to see those nice comments, and kind of, it helps that person keep going, right? It pushes that person to say, okay, I have like subscribers, or I have, people that support me. So that's kind of like what I also picked up from there. Honestly, it was a lot, really, that just stood out to me. But I know you have some more sense, so go ahead.
Okay, so guys, we discussed our initial thoughts, kind of like things that we noted. We talked about the comments being deleted, Dr. Griffin's body language. I thought she looked uncomfortable. Let me know what you guys think. I didn't think that she was at a relaxed state. It definitely seemed like it was a little bit coached, I feel like. We also discussed about how everything was members only, okay? So now let's actually talk about how she addressed each and every one of the panelists. Okay, so she had quite a few things to say about all of the panelists. The only two people that she didn't say anything about was Schoolboy and Marcella, and she talked about Bishop. She talked about um what's this she talked about So Debonair. She also talked about Ples. So she talked about she absolutely dragged all the panelists. So she talked about everybody. Let's talk about what she said about Ples. Pretty much she said, of course we all know that Ples gave her 2 weeks in, um and Ples put her 2 weeks in, and she pretty much said that the initial interview that well the initial video that Ples did was unnecessary because she felt like um Ples didn't need to have like a farewell or anything because her last day there was no video, that they didn't do a video, so she didn't feel like Ples needed to do it. Ples needed to do she needs to say have a farewell to Ples. That's the first thing she mentioned. All right. So the second thing she mentioned was Plaza's second video. Now, mind you, she did mention Plaza's second video without mentioning Schoolboy's video. So Plaza's second video was a retaliation to Schoolboy's video. Okay? Schoolboy's video. That was Plaza's second video. So she did mention Schoolboy's video. Now, after that, she mentioned Plez coming on the live. So coming on the live and being disrespectful. So it just seems like everybody is just both her and Dr. Griffin are just everybody's just blaming Ples and all of this. But nobody is holding saying anything about Schoolboy's video. Okay. They were trying to imply that Ples was ungrateful. They were trying to imply that she gave Ples a platform. They were trying to imply that, okay, well, I mean, she paid Ples. Why is Ples getting upset? And then they talked about the contract. She said that there was no written contract, because I forgot what she said, but it was something like there was really no written contract. And then Dr. Griffin said, "Well, you're a lawyer, Ples. Why didn't come up with a contract?" Okay, so it was just a lot of victim shaming. Okay, especially to Ples. So that was pretty much a synopsis about Ples. Now let's talk about what she said about Bishop. Okay, so she said that Bishop, now he's trying to imply that he wasn't being messy, but he was being messy the whole time. She also said, what else? She said, pretty much she just said that Bishop was just being messy. So that's what she implied about Bishop, because Bishop came out and said that he doesn't like really being into women's business. Um, and but the whole time he was dragging in women's business, you know. So that was it about Bishop. Now let's talk about. She did mention some stuff about So Debonair, and you guys know So Debonair was the one who he was one of the callers, and he because of his video, it puts everything together what Ples said. So because of his video, his initial video. So like it put things into perspective. So that's what she implied pretty much about everyone. She did mention some stuff about Princess, but we haven't heard anything from Princess yet. So we've heard pretty much everything from everyone. We've heard from So Debonair, we've heard from Ples, we've heard from Marcella, who else? Who else? Uh, um, Schoolboy, we've heard from now we've heard from Monica. We haven't heard from Princess yet. So Princess, I'm not sure when she's going to tell her side, but we have not heard from Princess yet. And we also heard from the bishop. Okay, so then she was talking about how everyone is calling her messy and all this stuff, and she said yes because she's a journalist. She talks about celebrity gossip, and she said that all of the panelists were in cahoots about talking about celebrity gossip. She said that Bishop was a part when he was dragging people. She said that Pledge was talking about Wendy's lips or something like that. She said just a lot of things. So then we have Wiley who joined. Now Wiley is the one that was saying that he interviewed Monica, right? And we have some things we want to add to that. I think Lucy is kind of aware of this too. So he said he interviewed Monica, right? And he's also in cahoots dragging Ples and all the panelists and pretty much bigging up, trying to give Monica, bigging up Monica, right? While dragging all the other panelists, okay? Yes, it was just a mess. It was just a mess. No accountability was taken. People were comments were getting deleted left and right, and there were actually people who were paying to be members so they can comment and tell Monica everything was like she was lying pretty much. So that's if that kind of gives you guys a glimpse of how the interview went, you kind of have an idea. Just know that there was no accountability that she didn't have any accountability. Okay, so we pretty much talked about the synopsis of what was going on. We gave our initial opinion of what, just kind of like our first glance of what we thought. Now we're going to talk about just kind of a little bit of the details and just go into depth and go into detail and what our thoughts are on about that. But let me go ahead and just say hello to everyone who is entering into the room. Hello once again, Anna.
Yeah, so I think Sin just came. I think she just well, something happened, but yes. So okay, she's back, I believe. Okay, hey Sin.
Okay, hey guys, I'm so sorry. I was in the middle of giving a just a shout out to everyone who is in the room. Just hey Lisa, hey I think it's apartments available in New York. Hey Evelyn, hey Anna, Lisa once again. Hey Beverly, hey, thick girl. Hi, everyone. Hi, Tracy. Hi, everyone who is coming in. I want to make sure that I have not. I think Empress. I said, hey, hi. Okay, so we talked about all of the what pretty much the details and stuff. Now let's talk about a little bit of the insight on what we think. So, Lucy, I know we were talking last night. Um, Monica. Okay, so. Wiley said he interviewed Monica. Let's talk about that. What actually happened?
So when Wiley came to onto the show.
Yes.
So basically, nothing much happened. They just basically called, said, "Oh, we have a special guest." Wiley came in, and basically, he was basically saying the same thing that he was saying on his show. Basically, calling speaking on terms of pledge, and also he did make and then Monica. I don't think you mentioned this, but Monica did say that she was not in an interview. She claimed she didn't know who Wiley was, but then she said she was not. She did interview with him, but then however later on Wiley came onto the show. So it's interesting that she said that. But Wiley did come on and he was basically saying the same thing that he said on his live that he did the live that he did yesterday. So another thing that I did wanted to point out was the I would say the bias that was on and I was just calling it an interview basically because it just seemed like an interview. It didn't address again. It did not address all of the things that did happen. I think the main issue here was the communication, and that was not addressed. I think it was more so of, as I mentioned again, she was trying to clear her name, or she was trying to clear the unfavorable comments or responses she was getting from people. She was trying to clear that out. And I thought that as the doctor, Dr. Griffin, who was mediating this, I thought that, she wouldn't say much because again, she's the one who is interviewing Monica, but she had her own opinions as well, which I thought was interesting because I felt again it was biased and it was more towards Monica's likings. Nothing really was, at the end of the day, nothing was solved. Nothing was, there was no apology on that live yesterday. I think a lot of people was expecting for her to apologize. Like you said, a lot of her members were just like, just apologize, Monica. But none of that happened either. The live that she did was again open to all members. So again, you couldn't say what you wanted to say. Um, so yeah, and she also mentioned that another YouTuber who was supposed to be interviewing her, which I thought was interesting, another YouTuber who was supposed to be interviewing her, but Monica said that she was not going to go live. The YouTuber called her and asked her if she wanted to go live because I think they agreed for an interview. And Monica said that she was not going to go live because she wanted for it to be pre-recorded. Interesting how she wanted for it to be pre-recorded, right? Because she did not want to be maybe put up in that scene. She wanted everything possibly to be scripted instead of her just getting thrown out there. So that kind of like made me think like some of the stuff that Plez said was possibly true. So yeah, that's just how I was looking at it. I don't think that interview did Monica any justice yesterday. More so, it kind of proved what Bishop and Plez were saying.
Right. And we also have to note that how uncomfortable Dr. Griffin. She looked very, very uncomfortable. You can definitely tell this was already rehearsed what she was going to say to Monica because she is a friend of Monica. She has been on the show before, especially when Potomac was on. She has came on there before to talk about maybe to share her side and stuff. And I'm just wondering, it's like she was on the show before, I want to say, and she knew of Ples. Why all of a sudden she has all these things all this like all this nasty things to say about Ples or dragging Ples, and she's witnessed Ples how Ples is in her character. I don't think it was was it necessary for her to say Ples's full name? Was it necessary for her to say where Ples works? She didn't apply where Ples works, but she pretty much implied like what she kind of does. Was that like was it necessary? And she's also calling yes, the girl for 40. It was a shopping list script, absolutely. And was it necessary for her to imply that Ples there's something else she said. Okay, she said that so they're calling Ples a quote unquote lord. They're calling her like a pseudo lord and all that kind of stuff. But um but she wants to go to law school. She wants to go to law school. Yes, we will be opening up the phone line, but we're just kind of giving a synopsis of what is actually going on. So we will try to open up the phone line so everyone can express their feelings and their thoughts, like what they think is or so. So we're just giving a synopsis. So that's kind of pretty much what happened during the live. Monica did not do anything to make it better. I thought she was going to come in, hey guys, I'm so sorry, teacups. I'm sorry about everything that has happened. Apologize to the panelists because they were really hurt. And then, but she said she didn't do any of that. She said she's going to be back in action. So, Monica, you guys will be seeing her very soon. She's going to be back in action.
Yes. So another thing is, of course, Wiley joined the live, and later on, she did bring a lady named Heidi. I think she's also going to be part of the panel. I think that Monica is still in the future. Is We'll still be having a panel, but however, right now she's just. I think she did mention she's rebranding, so that kind of tells us that she's going to still be here, and she's going to continue to possibly have a panel, have the panel. I think she said her daytime one is still intact, so they'll still be going live. Um, so yeah, that was basically a lot that really happened. I mean, the interview was definitely scripted. I couldn't really. It was really hard to watch because it was more so of like everything basically debunking what Ples was basically saying. So yeah, she did confirm that she was not the Monica Souls. She did confirm that she was not that person, and she did address a lot of things that I guess like everyone had in mind. So, however, she did not clean up the mess that was made. She did not clean up the mess. So that was just really lackluster.
Hey, yes. It was very lackluster. Okay, for everyone who's joining in, guys, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you also subscribe. Guys, we're almost at nine. We're at 980 right now. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. So guys, just make sure you hit the like button and also you subscribe as well too. So that was pretty much it, the whole synopsis of the whole interview. It wasn't much. Monica, guys, she's going to be back tonight. She's going to be back tonight. This may just be her new panelist. It may just be Wiley, Dr. Griffin, and possibly Heidi. So this may be her new panelist. So she's back. Monica is going to be back.
Yeah.
So
So I logged off when she welcomed Wiley. Yeah, exactly. She welcomed Wiley, but she also said that she didn't know who Wiley was in the beginning I think when it was asked to her, she doesn't even know who Wiley was, and she also said she did not do an interview with him.
yeah, she
Another
did say
thing, yes, she did, but then she welcomed Wiley close to the end. Okay, so another thing was that the interviewer, is it Dr. Tanya, the pastor? She's the pastor. She did seem a little uncomfortable too. She seemed like this was, and I do believe that that was scripted because, again, as I mentioned, Monica was supposed to be going live with another YouTuber for interview, and she did not want to go live. She wanted to do it. Basically, she wanted the questions, approve the questions, possibly have it pre-recorded before she goes live, before they actually um, go live for it. So I do believe that that was definitely scripted. Um, he's going to play him on our panel with Sat the Destruction Elbow. Exactly. I think that he's part of the new panel. I'm not sure, but if that's the case, then yeah. I feel like this
Honeybee.
was if she
Okay.
kept it
So
going.
I need to address Honeybee really quickly. Okay, yes, I mentioned that in the beginning. I said she looked uncomfortable. She couldn't even read the questions because she was so uncomfortable. You know, when they always tell you like body language speaks, like if you look at her body language, you can just be like, okay, even look at the picture that we have up. She just looks so uncomfortable. You know, even her being a she's a minister. You can just tell that, you know, she in her right? Like she can just you can just tell like, okay, this is just not right. Like what she's doing is just not right. That's why she looked uncomfortable. I feel like that's why she looked uncomfortable. Um okay, so let me make sure we've addressed most of the comments. Okay, apartments available. New York said, I'm a fan of Wiley, but he was acting brand new. Yeah, I'm just like, does he even know Monica? Like, what's the history? What's the background history between him and Monica? All right, and then okay, honeybee, how are you? Right, like she said, she's a pastor, and now she's going to go to law school, but she's yeah, trying to talk about Pleasant's degree, but whatever. Um, Evelyn said, I feel like it was to make money. I do too, because I don't even know how many. It was a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of people watching because everyone just wanted to hear what she had to say. Thank you, Roxanne. She said she just subscribed. Thank you, guys. Yes, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so thank you. Um, what else? Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you have not watched the live, I don't know. It looks like they said it was been edited. It's been edited, so it wasn't like the initial. It looks like they re-uploaded it.
Yes, basically. Um, talk is a common link between. Okay, so why? Okay, so talk. Okay, I feel that she wanted to be careful and not say the wrong things to start the fire to put more fire in a terrible situation. She handled it very righteously to interview the doctor. I can understand that. I think that again, she was told what to do, so she was just going by what she was told, of course, by the interviewee who was, the avatar Monica. So I can understand why, she couldn't really say much. Let me see. Yes, they were deleting comments. That's true. They were deleting comments,
Yeah,
especially the
yeah,
comments that were not favorable to Monica, right?
I, right. I definitely could. I can see. I could try to. I can understand why Doctor Griffin was trying to be careful what she says because one, she didn't want to make probably didn't want to make Monica upset. Because she is on Monica's platform. I think her and Monica maybe just be friends. Well, we don't. I mean, her. It looks like her and Monica are friends. So, yeah. People are asking for refund for their super chat. Yeah, I did like. There was some super chats, and people were saying, they would send a super chat, and people were saying something to her, and then she would just delete him, just like this is a mess. Okay, so we are going to open up the line. So, whatever your thoughts are, go ahead and share it. Okay, so you feel like when Wiley came on, one of them should have shut him. I mean, I think that this was definitely, they were all in this all together, because it's like he came on there to do a job. And the job that he did, he came on there to do a job, one job only. She should have she could have had anyone to do the interview, but she wanted a person that right. I think that I think Monica is Dr. Griffin's friend. Monica let him do she could do what he right, she couldn't. She honestly could not at all.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, ladies. How are you all today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me in.
Good. No problem. No problem. So, what's on your mind?
Um, I agree with a lot of the things you guys have said thus far. I actually watched the live last night, and because of the history of Monica taking down her videos or doing modification to her videos, I took notes because I wanted to go back and compare it not only to what they said, but to some of the other videos from the panel members because I wanted to see where some of the contradictions were. I know you guys were actually speaking on Dr. Griffin earlier and her relationship to Monica. But from my understanding, I think Dr. Griffin has been linked to Pastor Jamal Bryant. And I think that's where that relationship came about with the Potomac reviews they were doing. And I think that she's actually a person that Giselle does not like because of her relationship with Pastor Jamal.
Yeah, I remember if you guys okay, so we're going to, I know there's a few people on, so we're gonna try to do maybe four at a time. Um so I remember during the Potomac, when Potomac was on, I think I really want to say that Dr. Griffin came on all about the tea when it was revealed that, she was the ex-girlfriend of what's her of Jamal Bryant. So I
Right.
want to she actually came. So her and Monica have a really good relationship. But I'm just wondering, out of all people, it was just so random, Dr. Griffin. I was thinking maybe it was just random. Maybe she wanted to have. I think she does like. I think she's into relationships and does all. She does her PhD and stuff. So she's into like relationships and stuff. Um, and counseling and all that kind of stuff, and also into ministry. So I think maybe if she felt like maybe if she had her on there, it would be more like a one-on-one sit down.
Yes, and I think that also by her having Dr. Griffin on there, she said a lot of things that was contradictory to her agenda or Monica's agenda. Um, for one, Dr. Griffin was criticizing um, the bishop's spirituality and how he was on a gossip blog with women, degrading women, but yet she's on a gossip blog degrading another woman. She was there degrading Ples, um, as well as Wally, because they both were saying how the bishop was degrading women, but yet they did the same thing last night. Um, Dr. Griffin started off with she put Pled's whole government name out there, knowing that
Yeah.
she's an attorney and that her information is out there, but yet Monica stood behind her platform of being behind the avatar as a form of protection. And my thing was, if you were so worried about being protected, why would you put someone else's information out there for people to harass her at her job and to harass her at her home? Because all her information is public knowledge out there as an attorney.
Right. And I would that's you know what? And hi everyone who joined the live. Barbara, Jazz, hello, hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Well, I wanted
Um,
to give my opinion. I was waiting for you to, let me know when I could speak.
oh yeah, certainly. So okay, so Dr. Yes, Dr. Griffin, I was just like, why would she put out Plez's whole government name?
Hi,
Like, why
hey,
would she
Jazz.
do that?
Well,
I think she did it just
uh,
because she want more people to get at Ples and don't want to watch her. I think she did it. I think it was like I think it was Monica's idea. Just like she threw Schoolboy under the bus. Like you should have had him on your live last night too. That's your friend. He had your back. You should have had him on the live. He didn't interview with nobody. I mean,
Yeah.
she didn't interview with nobody. Sorry, didn't interview with nobody. She should have had her on the live too, and send her off like how she wanted to send Ples off.
Exactly. And another thing is like, yeah, Schoolboy wasn't even on the live. I feel like at least Schoolboy should have came on there with her, so they can all speak their piece. And putting Plez's government name out there, I don't even think that's something that Dr. Griffin would know. I feel like that's something that Monica would know.
That's Monica gave her the idea. That's
Right.
why she interviewed her. She probably already had the questions. It looked like she just let her ramble and ramble, didn't hold her accountable for nothing. It just looked like she was just letting her say whatever she wanted to say. No follow-up question, no nothing.
Right. I think it's something definitely she did write the questions and she just asked her, hey, can you just ask this? Um,
Like,
yeah.
See, that's how
What?
why I feel like she didn't want the one lady because she didn't want she wanted to know what questions it was, and she didn't want nobody in the chat. She wanted to have control over the chat also.
That's how she had it on her channel, on her own
What?
personal channel with the subscriber with just members only.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, ladies. How are you today? Good.
Is somebody playing the on the?
No, that's not me. That's not me.
Oh, okay.
Hi,
I think it's like
hi,
echoing.
this Barbara. Did you want to chime in?
Oh yes, I did. I first like to say this. I appreciate that doctor giving Monica a chance to explain herself on her platform, or Monica platform, whoever platform it was, because to see the destruction of that beautiful panel was such a, I was a fan. I still am, and Wally, I love me some Wally, but Wally was acting brand new, like a golden child, throwing people under the bus. Because I believe he's going to be the next panelist, but you don't have to degrade. And I don't think he degrade. Let me not say degrade, but you don't have to slander and throw nobody under the bus. Wally was acting too brand new, and I don't like the fact that they was exposing the amount of money these people was making. Because let me tell you about this. I'm on a panel. I'm a fan of another panel. I became a fan of your panel, Trigger Man Bang Bang, where it's it saved me from depression. And I was on Teacup panel, and one day they had a very serious topic, and Schoolboy was crying, I was crying, people was being delivered and saved, and to see the destruction, the evilness. 'Cause I'm glad that Monica had a chance to explain herself. This vulture, this witch hunt is
Night
terrible.
owl. Or
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm glad that you I like this how you're seeing it in both on all perspective from Dr. Griffin's side, because I do feel like it would have been a lot if she maybe came with her own questions. I definitely feel like the interview would feel a little bit more natural. So I like that you're seeing it from all perspectives, honestly. Um,
Well,
Barbara,
you have to understand that Monica is a businesswoman. She has to protect her brand, so she just can't have anybody. See, she has the she has the power to do that. She's supposed to do what she got to do. I can't wait to see her tonight. I can't wait to see this new panel. I can't wait I wanted Constance TV to have the invitation. To be on her panel. Constance TV is fierce. I love me some Constance TV. I love me some Gossip Girl, and I know you ladies are going to grow. I can't wait to continue to watch y'all. But thank you for your time. I'll be in the chat listening.
thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Thank you for bringing your perspective. Okay. All right. Okay, so hey everyone who is joining in, please make sure you like this video. Also make sure you subscribe if you care, if you want to. So we're almost so close to hitting our goals. So help us hit our goals. Thank you. Okay, so Nikki, what else did you have anything that stood out to you also in the interview? I know we talked about just kind of body language and stuff. Nikki?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
Uh, all right. Um, could you go back over the last point you made? I didn't hear it because I was trying to reconnect.
Oh, I was saying like what else? Like I know we were talking about the body language and stuff. So was there anything else that you saw that maybe stood out to you or something in the interview?
Um, as far as the facilitator, Dr. Griffin, I did observe the same as you ladies, that it seemed like it was scripted. Um, but it seemed as if, like you were saying, there was a lot of bias that was involved on her behalf, because not only was she asking the questions, but she was interjecting her own personal insight along the way, which to me made the interview at times seem not genuine, because it would seem like they would give apologies for certain things, but then they would come back with a sly remark. So to me, it kind of took away from the apology, and it made me wonder whether or not it was actually sincere.
Right. I definitely do feel like it made it seem not as like sincere, because I felt like Dr. Griffin didn't really give the other, like, I feel like she didn't look at things from both sides. She only saw it in Monica's perspective, you know? And
Right.
that's, I feel like that's definitely the only way that she saw it, was just in Monica's perspective. I wanted it to be like a non-biased interview where somebody can really come in and was like and look at it from different perspective, because I know like interviews that I've watched where people are trying to maybe do damage control and stuff, whoever interviews them, they will try to look at it from different sides. So that's why I really wish.
Correct.
Hmm. Yeah, I wish she would have done an interview with the other. I don't remember her name, but there was another. I don't know. You guys can correct me. Is it Toxic?
Toxic Diamond.
Toxic Diamond. Yeah, I really wish she would have done it with her. Yeah.
And yeah, and I have a question about that, because she mentioned that she didn't interview with Toxic because she wanted to do a pre-recording, but I know there was two occasions that Toxic had the interview scheduled, and she said that Monica in the first scheduled interview she came online and told everyone that Monica wasn't ready for the interview. And then she came back and scheduled another interview, but then that interview didn't go as well. And she never came online to let anyone know what was going on behind the scenes with that particular interview. So I'm just wondering where the miscommunication was, whether or not Toxic did not come back and explain to everyone exactly what transpired between her and Monica request to have the interview pre-recorded, or whether or not Monica just, she didn't do it because it wasn't pre-recorded. It just seemed like both stories don't line up. And the same with Wiley, because Wiley was on his site saying that he had an interview with Monica, and Monica interviewed, and Monica is saying that the person that came on his recording was not her, but yet Wiley never cleared that up. So he let everyone believe, he gave the impression that it was Monica. So to me, if Monica's going to work with Wiley and he's doing underhanded stuff to make people think that she was actually interviewing on his site, that gives me pause, because he's doing manipulative stuff to get numbers, and then she's doing manipulative stuff as well. You don't know who to believe right now.
Right, you really don't know who to believe. And okay, so I was trying to make like think of all of the like the scenarios, because when a situation happens, I really try to look at a situation in an analytical way, like why didn't she didn't go on Toxie's page, and why are all these people who are caping for her, like they're literally going so hard for her. So I was thinking, maybe now this is just my thoughts only. I'm like, did she give them some kind of monetary like incentives or something in order for her for it to the story to be told in a narrow way? Because Monica is very, very smart. Like she's a smart lady, you know, and so she
Mm-hmm.
knows how to move different pieces. So how to, and she's a journalist, of course, because she's going to narrate things like in a way that is going to be a little bit one side. So I'm thinking, what kind of incentive did she give them?
Exactly. And that was my thing too, because she wanted to have the best interview position where she can play her cards the way she needed to play them, so to speak. So maybe that's why things didn't go the way it was supposed to go initially with Toxic, but she went with Wally. But then again, like I said, Wally gave out the impression that Monica gave an interview when she said she didn't. So
Yeah.
between the two of them, there's some lies there. And I want to believe Monica's side, but every time she comes back with certain things, she contradicts herself. A subscriber with her YouTube page, but and I want to believe her on certain things, but then there's things that come back that contradicts everything that she says, and so it's just kind of puts me in a position of who you believe and who you don't believe.
Exactly. It makes it hard to like, well, to me, I just because it's hard for me for you to like sell anything to me. I like to look at things from both sides. I really did try to look at things from both sides. I tried to give her like I was like, okay, well, what can Monica do to fix this whole thing, or what can Monica do to make this thing better? I think that if she just comes out and was like, hey guys, like I'm sorry, like this happened, like everything, like we wouldn't have to even be talking about this. But she came on and broke her silence, and it wasn't even like holding herself accountable. It was more so like, well, they did this, they try to ruin my brand or my platform. So if she just had came and really tried to, because she can, because obviously it is her brand, but if she came in, tried to smooth things out, we all of us wouldn't even be talking about this. We wouldn't be talking about this because we're like, okay, we'll be like, okay, well, this is swept under the rug. Now you have two additional people who are involved, Wiley and Dr. Griffin.
Exactly. Because my thing is, from a business perspective, I understand that Moniker has to do damage control. But on the other hand, there's the truth. And if you want to have your subscribers maintain a position on your platform, then you just got to be truthful. I mean, there's other videos that she said things and then she came back and contradicted herself later. So that it, like I said, it just makes it hard to believe some of the things that she's putting out there, whereas there's been other stories that have been consistent.
Mhm. So I want to throw out a question. This is also for people in the live too. Do you guys think that Monica would be a little bit more accountable if she actually had her picture or she had her actual information out there? She would be held more accountable because right as of now, she can say whatever she wants because it won't really affect her that much because she has an avatar. So do you guys think that she would be a little bit more, have at least some kind of grace with this situation if she had actually if she has like her picture out there or her name or something that could identify her? You guys think she'll be a little bit more, have some grace in the situation?
I really don't think that the avatar is the total issue with people not truly understanding Monica. It's the narrative that she's putting out there. I mean, even if she stayed behind the avatar, if she would just say, okay, I did this and I take accountability for what I did, even though I don't agree with what the other panel members did, I take accountability for my part in all of this. The thing is, she wants to pass the blame or deflect everything on everything the panel members did, even though I feel the initial thing that started all of this was her not communicating back with Ples. There may have been things that Ples may not have said and done as far as them communicating and the other panel members, but with Monica being the CEO and the owner of the platform, as Dr. Griffin made sure she emphasized that whole entire live, that was her platform and she could do what she wanted to do. As the owner, as a business owner, as someone who said they had corporate experience, you would think that you would communicate better with an employee. Even if there's not a contract, there's a written contract, there's a such thing as a verbal contract. And they technically did have a verbal contract. And with verbal contracts, there's at will call. You can come and go as you please. I mean, there's even jobs out here now that can fire people at will or let people go at will. So I didn't understand how they kept going back to the contracts and things that wasn't there and how Ples should have put a contract into play. But Monica's from corporate and she knows these things as well. And she even stated that she was going to come back with a contract, but she didn't.
Right. So that is definitely what she said.
Hi, Nell. Well, hi,
Hi.
Nell. Welcome to the chat.
Hi, Nell.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So one thing, sorry about that point.
Mm-hmm.
So like I asked a question about, did Monica, you think she would be acting like this if she wasn't like behind an avatar? And I really did like your perspective, Nikki. And I was also thinking, like, I know that for me, if it makes it easier, it'll make it easier, especially on her part, because she does have an avatar. So it'll make it easier for her to be like, okay, well, for her to just say, shrug her shoulders, like, I don't care, like, what happens, because no one knows who I am. I'm behind an avatar. I don't have my identity out there. So it's okay I can victim blame. I can shame everyone who I want to shame, because like, my picture's not out there, and also my identity is not out there.
I think she was mostly trolling because she has nothing to lose and she knows it.
That's
because if you think about it, all of her panelists left her, like not Amir, the other one that has that lawsuit going on with Sherelle's World, like, he left and he has nothing but nice things to say to her because he still wants to get back on her platform. So it's like she feels like she's on top. So I was extremely disappointed. I used to love Monica.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think she definitely does not have.
Thinking about.
I mean, it's just like, go.
The avatar not.
Nikki, I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Being an issue in.
Do you want to call back? I think you're breaking up a little bit, Nikki.
Yeah, Nikki, I think you're breaking up. Can you give us a call? Yeah, well, call us back when you, because you are breaking up. Yeah. All right.
Okay, let me see if I can try to add her to the stream. All right, Nikki. Okay, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, I think she's breaking up just a little bit. So, Nell, what did you find, like, what did you see significant? I know we were talking about just kind of, we did a little bit an overview of the interview and stuff, and what we saw that was significant. We talked about body language. We talked about her putting Plez's full name out there. And we also talked about, what else did we say? We talked about the interview with Wiley. So we talked about a little bit of things here and there. So what stood out to you in the interview?
I think mostly like it felt like she was trolling. It's weird. It felt like she was just trolling. Like, yeah, I'm that bitch, or I'm sorry, I'm that person. This is my world. I put you guys on my platform. That's the vibe I got from everything. And like, I was sitting back, like, listening, just like, who is this person? Like, why? Like, what is this? Because if you listen to like her interviews from before, she sounds completely different.
Yeah, I think also she's getting a lot of, where everyone's talking about her. So she's like, yeah, I'm that girl. I'm like, everyone is talking about me,
Yeah. Right, but she's only doing that because we don't know her identity. And that poor lady from Bojangles is like just reaping like her her consequences because of her.
Right. You know what? You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, what she is only doing that because we don't know her identity. Because if we do know her identity, you guys
Mm-hmm.
know about cancel culture and stuff like that. Like, she would be coming back and have an apology, like make an apology video.
Yep.
How a lot of these people do. Like, if something doesn't favor them, she will be doing the same thing too. So,
Absolutely. If we knew her identity, she would have had like a sit down with Candace, with Wendy, with
There,
Giselle, with
yeah, it
Pastor
would have.
Holy Whore.
Yeah,
Like,
there would have definitely been a different narrative to this, uh, because again, allegedly there was a what is this? There was a let me just say death threats allegedly that she did say that was going on. So I was like,
right,
I don't think that no one really knows your identity. So it's like you're not the one who's most at harm here, honestly, to be quite honest with you, because no one knows who you are. No one have seen you, nor like your family. But however, everyone knows the panelists. Because I remember
right.
the doctor mentioned Plaza's. I think she mentioned her full name, where
Yes.
she
What kind of
worked.
lawyer she is.
Well,
Hmm.
she didn't refer where she worked, but she did um let out the state. I believe where Plez worked. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she did that. So I'm just like, now Plez is more at at harm
Risk.
if it was things
Hmm.
were to happen than more so of you. So it's just like it's no accountability. It was more so of me. And I think that it was just it just did not it was just distasteful. The interview was all just distasteful. And now let's just shift a little bit to when she was basically stating when the Dr. Griffin asked how well, Monica mentioned how she was lifting Plez up, like she wanted her to like do go kind of like have that exposure. She would have mentioned her lipstick. Oh, Plaz, how's your lipstick? What kind of lipstick are you wearing today? What's the color? What's the color today? Like, what did you guys think about that? Did you guys actually think that was a way to for her to really promote Plaz, or what did you guys think about that?
In her defense, yes, I completely agreed because like at first it was random because she had like a bright red. I was like, this is nice. I don't even wear makeup. I was like, this is nice. Then the next time she had purple. So every time she were to say something, I was thinking about like sponsors that mostly gravitate to all about the tea. I mean, the advertise page because she has like a lot of viewers. So I saw that, but I didn't think of it that much.
Yeah, I think that can you guys hear me better this time?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that Monica used that as a marketing ploy, and she kind of admitted to that. But I don't, I kind of wonder as if whether or not she actually went into detail with Ples regarding the lipstick line, or whether that was something she threw out there to try to make it seem like she was being supportive of people on the panel. Because this is the first time we ever heard anything about it. Ples hasn't even mentioned.
Right.
So I was just wondering if she was using that as a manipulation tactic on during the interview last night to make it seem like she was just being really supportive of Ples.
I thought she was using that as insurance because if Plus were to get like a lipstick deal, who like where would they go to? Like they would go to that channel and just they might check out all the videos, maybe not, but that's how I thought of it at first. You know?
Mm. Right, right. But I guess
Yeah,
it would all depend on the contact that they have regarding that particular that product, whether or not Monica would even be involved in the total process of it all. I mean, if it's for Ples, supposed to
Mm-hmm.
support Ples, why would you be involved in it unless you have all the contact?
Oh, that might be it.
or
Mm,
sponsorship.
right.
I mean, or she can. I'm just gonna try to give Monica the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna try to say maybe she was really trying to push Ples to like, hey, maybe you should start a lipstick line because she really wears her lips. She has always really nice like lipstick combinations and stuff. So maybe Monica was. I'm gonna try to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was trying to give Ples like, hey, like you have all of these. The teacups, they're going to support if you do start a lipstick line. So, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I
Or,
think she may have had the right intentions when things started out,
Yeah.
but it just seems like the way she presented everything that if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have,
Mm-hmm.
and if it wasn't for me telling you to do this, you wouldn't have that, versus her being helpful and trying to push someone and elevate them. It just seems like she's just using it now to say, well, you're the person that you are because of me. Basic.
Yes.
right. Okay. I think it was No. So, okay. No and Kelly. No and Kelly, I think. Okay. So she says she probably had plans to use Monica beyond YouTube. And I think maybe, like, if she did start a lipstick line, maybe to invest in it as a way because, teacups and everything would be buying it. So maybe she probably would like to invest in her company if she did start YouTube. I mean, a lipstick line. So that's
Hmm.
Mm. Ladies, I saw a comment whereas brown skinned girl, she said, I think she didn't call Ples about the contract because her true identity would have been revealed. That is a good I think that's probably why she didn't push the
Wow.
ideal of a contract, though she spoke on it in the beginning, because she signature.
Yep.
Wow, where did you see that? The comments are going so fast. I wish I can pull it up because that actually makes sense. I would not even thought of that.
I have another device, so I'm trying to keep up with the comments as well, so I don't overspeak on something already said.
Oh, I have a question for y'all.
Hmm.
So how do you feel about I watch Monique Samuels. So I
Hmm.
was listening to her before the Avatar went live, and she was saying how she supports everyone but mostly the Avatar and how she runs her business. But how do you feel about the Avatar using her like resources and contacts to try to big up herself and make Ples and Bishop seem delusional? Because there's been a lot of videos in support of the Avatar with bigger platforms.
Okay, so I think your question is like, because I did watch Monique's. She did like a little Instagram thing that she did
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram. On Instagram, so I did watch it, and I would have to say like during the whole, I started watching, Monica and stuff on All About the Tea
Right.
when Potomac. So I was definitely watching that. So how do I feel about pretty much Monique supporting Monica, like the Avatar, All About the Tea
Yes. And other bigger platforms
and other bigger platforms?
like
Okay.
John Yates and all that. Mm-hmm.
So with John Yates, I feel like he's going to support Monica because one, I think they're actually friends. So she brought him to her channel and stuff. But when it comes to Monique, there's something significant that she did mention. She said, and I just kind of like honed into that. She said that the teacups, she invited all her teacups to go buy her. You guys know she has like um, essential oils and stuff to
Right.
go buy her essential oils, and they sold it out. So I think it could just definitely be a business profit, and also during Potomac, All About the Tea was one of the main bloggers that were really supporting Monique. So it's like she's paying a due diligence to Monica when everything is going on.
Hmm. Okay, I can see that.
Okay, someone said Monique is being used, but Monique is using them to build her channel. So, yeah, I think it's everyone at the
Mhm.
end of the day, everyone's trying to get something out of it because, yeah.
So Monica did say she was planning on getting her lawyers. How far do you think that's going to go versus Plez?
I mean, if she does, she's gonna know her. They're gonna reveal her identity if she does bring her lawyer. So I mean, I feel like maybe so, but it's hard for you to. It'll be, I don't know. I think it'll be tough because you haven't really revealed. I don't know. I think it'll be tough, but definitely think that the whole them revealing Plez's identity, like her full name and also her where she works. It was like it didn't need to be. She didn't need to do that.
Oh yeah,
Right.
one sec. If you're not speaking, can you mute? Yeah, because some echoes in the background. If you thank you. Okay, I think now it's good.
Yes, if you have more than one device together on, it's going to cause feedback. So you have to turn one of the devices down.
Yeah, so it sounds better now. Um, what she said, best friend emailed her photos of her kid. Um, I mean, I would want to know why Monica is getting lawyers involved. What exactly was done in terms of um, what was committed on her part that why lawyers should get involved, because I think that most out here would be Plez, and of course because this could go into like work, like what is this, like going to HR possibly, or workplace, could really be a part of that, right? Like really be a part of some of the workplace issues. I would really label that as that, because I feel like there was a lot of things going unprofessionalism going on in the background. There was a lot of telephoning, a lot of misconducts that was going on. So I think that like I don't know what Monica's arguments would be if she does decide to go farther with the lawyer. I would say in this case, because I feel like a lot of issues that was said about was against Monica. Like and you could definitely tell from some of the things that was being said. I mean, how are you deleting comments that favor one of your panelists? And yesterday we also saw that it was also happening again. And she mentioned that she didn't tell the moderators to do that. But how is it so that the moderators were deleting those comments? Like that is
Well,
that.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, she did mention last night that the moderators have all the power. So I think she actually gave them the authority to delete comments at will.
Of course, because I mean, why exactly? That's when you have a moderators, as far as I'm concerned, we're only you will only be deleting comments that are rude, disrespectful, which I can understand, right? But if it's comments that are fake, her reason was that she didn't want to make it seem like basically like maybe not including maybe inclusion, or like that's what I was getting from it. Like she didn't want to make anyone else feel left out, and that's basically what she was saying. But I was just like, but that doesn't make sense though. If you're supposed to be promoting Plaz or marketing her, why is it that they were deleting those comments? Those comments like that shouldn't
Well,
be deleted.
I was going to say last night, I observed them deleting the comments. The comments that were being deleted were comments that were asking questions um, about what Monica may have said that contradict things that were put out by the panel members in different videos. And so whenever Monica would make a comment about something, a comment would come up, and I noticed the comments because I would screenshot. I noticed certain comments were being deleted, so I would take screenshots of the comment and then go right back up, scroll right back, and comment would be deleted as soon as I take the screenshot. So I took several screenshots where people were just asking general questions of Monica that was contradicting things that were said before, and the moderators were deleting it. And then there was also one particular moderator that was making shameful comments about the panel members as he was moderating. So that particular moderator was even being biased. So I can understand why some of the comments were being deleted at that point when I observed what was going on last night, because it seems like anything that wasn't for Monica last night was being deleted.
Did you guys notice Monica try to throw Marcella under the bus?
Yeah, she called a grown.
Oh my god.
No.
Wait, what did you say? Hold on, what
She
did
was
I didn't
she was making comments about
Grown.
people ages. She was making comments about people ages. She was calling them grown A people. But then when it came to Marcella, she said Marcella is grown. So I guess she was trying to emphasize that she's a lot older than everybody.
oh my
She,
gosh.
she
Monica's
need to
so
stop. She young at heart.
safe. Yeah, she after she gets all the super chats and stuff and donates big money to your channel. Monica has no loyalty whatsoever.
Exactly. I was like,
Loyalty
wow.
Also, when the doctor was like throwing in some questions that were kind of like putting Monica on the spot, she did blow up Marcella's spot again, saying that she called someone a gorilla or something. I must have missed that episode, but I thought that was kind of messed up since Marcella was in the comments and still doing super chats and stuff.
But
Yeah,
Y'all
let's
didn't
shift.
see that?
Oh, go ahead, Sin, because I wanted to mention about Bishop. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I was asking if you guys saw that.
I remember it was being talked about. I didn't watch that live where Marcella. I don't even know who she even called a gorilla. I'm not even sure who she did call a gorilla, but um, I didn't see that live. I didn't watch, but I know that people said that she called somebody a gorilla, but I don't even know who she called the gorilla.
Allegedly.
Huh.
Yeah, and
Oh,
she also mentioned that some of the panel members were calling some of the celebrities that they were talking about out of their names. But my thing was she was body shaming the bishop last night. She made comments about his size.
oh my
So I was
Yeah.
god.
like, there's another contradiction right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like they someone said that Marcella allegedly called Portia's fiance. Okay, Simon. Simon. Oh. Okay, she was talking about
Okay.
Portia's fiance. Oh.
Yeah, but
Wow.
she made a comment about the bishop's size, because she was saying that she was trying to be nice and tell him he was cuddly and some other stuff she was saying. But then she turned around and called him a big old something. She didn't go all the way into the comment, but she started and she caught herself and stopped. And I was like, there she go, contradicting herself again.
Well,
Because
it's
from the
easy.
abundance of the heart, the mouth speak it. So she's pretty much saying everything she had on her heart.
Okay.
Right.
Someone said, oops,
Well,
I need to
well,
put this.
it's easy for you to talk about how someone looks, but when no one knows how you look. So
Exactly.
Someone
it's easy to
said
throw things.
she called him a
Huh?
walrus. Allegedly, she called him a walrus. So a walrus. Wow.
Wow. Well, it's easy for her to say call anybody anything, that comes out of her mouth because we don't know how she looks like.
Right.
So yeah.
Another thing I wanted to say now, I'm so glad you brought about Bishop, but did you guys also see yesterday that she also mentioned how Bishop, Bishop, as when he went live, he called himself the man of integrity. He didn't like to get into women's drama. But then Monica mentioned that Bishop, he knew that this was a women's panel, right? Majority of them were all women, and that they were going to talk, sip on some tea, talk about celebrity gossip. Basically her platform is about gossip, right? Celebrity gossip. So it was just like, why did you decide to join if you're not, into those kind of things? So it was just, to me, I felt like she was just still throwing them under the bus. That's how I look at it. So yeah, I found that was interesting that she was really, it's like that's how she really felt, but then again,
Hmm.
that looks bad on Bishop's end.
I don't know. I think that's messed up. So what is she saying about DJ Richie Sty and like Ymir and all the other male panelists that was on the daytime one? What's she really trying
Exactly,
to say?
exactly. Exactly. She didn't say anything about men being on the daytime panel. She only criticized the bishop being on the nighttime panel. And the fact that she even said he's supposed to be a man of the cloth, but yet Dr. Griffin, who is supposed to be a woman of the cloth, was bashing the bishop as well. So to me, neither one of them had any integrity when it came to that particular aspect of what they were talking about.
I don't think the doctor should have been talking either. Isn't she the one that was been slanging with Pastor Holiness? Who's he?
Yes.
Ooh,
Allegedly.
Yeah.
allegedly.
And then she made well, yeah, allegedly, but she made, even though there's videos out there, but she also
And footprints.
criticized Bud's credentials as an attorney, and she's talking about wanting to go to law school, but yet she doesn't even know the basic elements of a contract because she was trying to poke holes in the fact that there wasn't a contract. I mean, there's more than one type of contract. That's a written contract, but they had a verbal contract. And if she's supposed to be a future law student, she would know that. I know that as a paralegal student.
Say that again. I know the paradox, right? Like she's talking about Plez's. She wants to go to law school, but she's over here talking about Plez, right? But you want to go to law school.
Exactly.
A mess. Yeah, I really just think that, right, talking about lawyer language. Yeah, this is just not a good look. Maybe this is just like their date. This probably will be their her new panel, because obviously these are the people that really support her. You know, these are the people that are really going hard for her. So this is probably going to be her panel, and it's going to make it here. And like moving on from four, so any like celebrity tea and all that kind of stuff that she has, like that was people did really gravitate towards. It's going to be hard for people to gravitate towards it now.
Right. It kind of makes things a little tainted because now you've seen how she contradicts herself on certain things. And so it's going to always put in the back of your mind whether or not she's being sincere or legitimate about her sources or other things that's going on. And I wanted to bring up the fact, I don't know if you ladies heard this portion, how they were talking about the number of subs Monica started off with and how many she ended up with before people started unsubscribing. She said she came in with 60,000 when she brought the panel in, and then they, I guess, obtained about 100,000 subs, and then it went down to probably 90,000 once people unsubscribed. So she was criticizing, and Wally as well, they was criticizing how the panel was being ungrateful for not appreciating the opportunity that they got to be on the panel. And my thing was, I think they started back in January, so within 5.5 months, they brought on together 40,000 additional subs to 60,000 subs that you originally came with. And you've been on your platform for 8 years. So, I mean, I know it takes a lot to build your subs, but my thing was she was being critical of the panel as if their contribution wasn't that significant. And my thing is, in 8 years, you only obtained 60,000, but in 5 months, they helped you build 40. So that was crazy to me how they was bashing the panel about their contribution.
Mm-hmm. Now I need to right, and I have to also make another comment. So when I remember seeing initially first started watching Monica, like the all about, like when she did her reviews. And I can remember she was, I don't, when I started watching her, she wasn't at 40. She was like a maybe like five, it was like five something, 5,000. I want to say when I initially saw her channel, and then that's when she started hiding it. So I didn't know like how much she had, but when she had it out, it was like around there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the panel actually helped her. I mean, and in a short amount of time. So the way they was bashing the panel, regardless of how they felt about how things ended, I mean, their contribution in the last 5 months was significant.
That's what I was just going. I was actually going to talk about the panel because she made it seem like they didn't really contribute to, or I. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. The doctor as well, Dr. Griffin. It made it seem like she also, her and Monica made it seem like they didn't contribute. The panel didn't really do much to her growth. But personally, I think that they really did because again, Monica's known to just as far as I've known her and I've watched her, I've always seen her with the panel members, right? I've never really seen her go live by herself. Just like yesterday, she brought the doctor to interview her. Why would she need the doctor to go, to really release herself and just kind of let us know what's going on? Why would she need the doctor to do that? So the panelists did help her because you guys had your favorites, right? Plaz, some of your favorites were Plaz, Princess. So a lot of, and then they also had super chats, right? So it did help her growth. There were money going into her pocket either way. Her views went up because everybody were interested in kind of hearing what everyone's diverse opinions. So again, it really brought some views to the show. Either way, I think that the panel did help her.
Right, as well as the day panel because DJ Richie Sky brought a lot of subscribers along with him as well, I think.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I had no idea what that channel was until DJ Richie Sky said to come follow him over there.
Yeah, a lot of people said the reason why they came along was because of DJ Richie Sky. Like that's mainly the reason why. So I think that Monica, I honestly, this doesn't look so good either way. However we see it, the interview yesterday didn't do any justice. There was no apologies whatsoever. It just that's all I have to say. It just didn't do her any justice. It was really hard to watch because I really thought that she would come and take some accountability for some of the things that was done and
Mm-hmm.
some that was true, right? But she didn't do that. It felt like she was just sort of like defending herself where there was errors and gaps.
Correct. And I think, having additional people on the panel like Dr. Griffin and Wally that was just totally going in on the panel, to me, it didn't promote healing. So it just made the situation worse. Because my thing is, if you're going to be accountable for what happened, or at least for your part of it, and then you have the other panel members who have apologized and made statements, how are you promoting healing by having people on there continually bashing people?
Exactly. I agree. I totally agree. There, it just didn't seem. Someone said because she is messy. Yeah, and I don't know if you all also caught that. I mean, I'm just gonna go back to when because she also said that she didn't know Wiley, right? She said she didn't know Wiley, and she said she didn't do an interview with Wiley. However, closer, and she was like, "Oh, we have a special guest, Wiley," and then why? So it's just like there's a lot of it makes her all of these small little things that she was doing. It kind of makes her it debunks some of her stories, like some stuff that she would say. It kind of makes me look at her differently. It's like this doesn't, it doesn't act right. Like, it seems like Plez was being more truthful than what you are saying that happened. It just kind of, it kind of shifts the narrative back to Plez's favor. I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
if she was thinking that the interview was supposed to help her yesterday, but it didn't do no justice for her.
It really didn't, because even when in the times that she admitted to the things that she came short on, as far as the lack of communication and all the other things that transpired, she would turn right back around and try to deflect and push the blame off on someone else, even when she admitted she did things wrong. So to me, it was no genuine accountability on her part. It was more damage control. To me, it just made things worse.
I think this is just to keep things going, honestly. That someone else mentioned that in the chat. It's just to keep things going. It really is. I mean, she's been in the media, what, 8 years, I believe she said. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think is she knows exactly what she is doing. To my opinion, I think she does. Um, so yeah, and you guys also realize, I think one of our videos that we mentioned, Wiley also asked in his was one of his lives. He was asking before Monica came out with the interview. He was asking whether or not people were still going to watch even after this. So I felt like it was just kind of to gather up like what everyone was thinking, and you guys realized after that she came and wanted to do an interview. So I thought that was interesting. I guess she wanted to see whether or not she still will have maybe supporters or subscribers who are still going to watch her.
Mm. Yeah,
I
well,
wonder.
it's obvious that she still has a big fan base in spite of the people that unsubscribe, but it's just kind of hard to watch when you know that people are not being genuine about things.
Yeah, there and even if so, and even if they were to go back to a panel, it's going to really be hard for the genuine, the generosity or the genuine relationship. At least for me, as I'm thinking, it will be really hard. At least also the relationship, the communication, the to be able to trust, her generosity. Yeah, like her genuity. That's just some things I would actually look at if I was to go on that panel. And even
Exactly. And
so,
the
she was still expecting Ples to mess, even when Ples told Ples that she wasn't feeling good, or she mentioned that she wasn't feeling good, she was still insisting that Ples could have called her. I just did not understand that. I did not understand that. I'm like, but that you're the person, this is your panel, right? This is your platform. You, like, right now you are more like the manager, right? So the manager reaches out to the employee. That, I mean, isn't that what happens in corporate? For you to be in corporate, you should know that. So that was no excuse to why she didn't reach out to Ples. So that just didn't make sense either. It was like, come up
it
with
didn't
something
make
different.
it didn't make sense to me either, because Ples showed the messages where she called her that Friday and they communicated, and Ples told her she was going out of town, and they made an agreement to talk on Sunday when she got back. So Ples called her and she told, or either text her, and she told Ples give her 30 minutes, and she never contacted her back. So my thing is, Ples made the initiation to communicate with you on the day you specify, and you still did not follow up, even when you stated that you would.
Exactly. At least she made the attempt. Exactly. And that wasn't Ples's place either to do that. It wasn't her place. It was Monica's place to do that. And it was just she was trying to find so much, different ways around it. And it was just not
Mhm.
working. Like, oh man, I could already
Exactly.
smell that.
And don't forget, this communication transaction was after the 2 weeks of her not responding back when Ples put in her notice. So there had already been 2 weeks where she did not get back with Ples about the new arrangement on the payment plan for her appearances. And then even when Ples followed up after those 2 weeks, she put her off until Sunday, and then she still didn't communicate. And from my understanding, from Schoolboy's video, she mentioned that they talked. Her and Monica talked that Sunday. So she did communicate not only with Ples, but she communicated with Schoolboy. So she could have did a simple text to say, okay, I'm not feeling well. I can't talk. Let's just change this to another time. But she didn't even take that step.
Yeah, there was a lot of errors and gaps in all that was being said. Honestly, there was. It just I wanted them to just turn that off, just turn the interview off completely. It was just it was rough. It was really rough to watch. Just tough to watch.
Like it was clear that she didn't have enough respect for Ples or Bishop, but I would have really appreciated if she just like gave an apology to Schoolboy, because Schoolboy really took the hits for her, and that did
Oh,
not need to
Mm.
happen at all.
mm, yes, yes. I'm so glad you brought. I was just going to bring Schoolboy up because I know she went live today. And to be quite
Mm.
honest with you, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely correct. Schoolboy really was the one who took the hits out for her. Like I couldn't you couldn't say this any better. I think Schoolboy currently, the way I look at the situation, I think that Schoolboy is devastated. I would say devastated because I felt like she really put her heart and all to the panel and to Monica. Like she really had loyalty to Monica.
But you did kind of
Yeah,
see how she
she
lost
was ride
herself
or
in it.
die.
Yeah,
She
she
was
was.
better at that, but she kind of lost herself in it. Like recently, she's just like lately, she's kind of been going like super hard, and it doesn't seem like she knows why. But like since Monica left her out to dry, it's like she made this whole Twitter post saying that she's leaving YouTube and separating her Schoolboy persona, and I'm just like, but
And
this is like one mistake. You can just get right back up, apologize, and move forward. Like you're gonna lose some subscribers, we can get them back. But Monica had no decency to tell her like anything or apologize even.
yeah, and I honestly,
Exactly.
yeah, there was no apology to what school because Schoolboy's actually taken a lot of these backlashes. There's been videos, of course, the video's been made. Like it's been, and I can understand, like why she feels like she needs to step away from YouTube. But I think this is also a lesson for Schoolboy moving forward, whether or not she wants to continue with her YouTube journey or her platform as a whole, although it's not going to be the way it was. However, I think this is a learning lesson for her. It's hopefully so. I really wished her love and light because I really feel like she really depended on that panel. She really put her all into it.
Exactly. And my thing, even though I don't agree with how Schoolboy handled that situation with the video, she did come back and apologize. And my thing is this, she has shown more genuineness and remorse than Monica. And it's Monica's
Absolutely.
platform.
Yeah, that that was crazy because I know whatsoever. Like it just did not seem like Monica was remorse about anything. But also, I wanted to pinpoint out: do you the live that they did do when Plez was there and they were all there? You guys recall when she said, "Schoolboy, why are you crying?" It just seemed like it just seemed like she was trying to call Schoolboy out
Oh
like
my
for
gosh,
being
Mm-hmm.
a
yeah. That was crushing to watch. I was just because you see like she's devastated, and then at the end like she's trying to get back at players like, Schoolboy, tell her what she said about you. I'm like, yeah, she is devastated, she's breaking down in front of you. What is wrong with you? Like,
yeah, it was. I thought that as that mother, as that mother that Schoolboy referred her to as mommy. I mean, I would think that she would really be empathetic, but it was just it was hard to watch that part honestly. Schoolboy was crying, and she said, "Oh, Schoolboy, do you need a minute?" Like, oh, she's like, "Oh, okay, thank you." When when she went back off live, I was like, "Oh wow!" Like it was no type of like sympathy, and it was nothing. It was just like, you need to basically click yourself off this live right now. Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of rough to watch because it was almost as if it was a parent scolding a young kid in a sense. So it was just uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I saw something interesting just now. Honeybee made a comment saying this is kind of like the Portia and Phaedra incident. I kind of see it. I kind of see it in a way. Do you guys?
Mm,
But
yeah.
is it How? Okay, so why do you guys think so?
Because remember, Portia went so hard trusting at fate that Phaedra wouldn't like do her no wrong. She's going all out, and then the only benefit is that Schoolboy actually had the sense to realize that he was wrong and that he stopped. I mean, she stopped and
But
apologized, but the damage was kind of done. But I kind of do see it, like the manipulation with Phaedra and Miss Monica is uncanny.
I can see, but this it's a little different because again, we have I would say Monica the man in a manager role, and Morris, and then you have Schoolboy, who is an employee. So I can kind of see it, but then I kind of look at it as more so of because more so of a leader and I don't know, follower, maybe a leader and follower relationship. That's the way I see it. I don't know. It's a little strange. It's a little strange, and I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
really, yeah.
that closeness
Yeah.
should have never happened. Like the way that the way Schoolboy and Monica were so close. Um, yeah, that was strange. And
I really
she's
feel like
still,
Monica filled the parent role in Schoolboy's life. I feel that's the only reason why that she got so connected. Like that's the only reason I could think of.
yeah, but at the same time, but if that was the case, why didn't you? Again, this is all business to Monica because why didn't you? Why weren't you so empathetic to come out and defend Schoolboy? Like, why you knew that he was getting majority of the backlash. At no point did Monica come out
Right.
to debunk some of these things or to defend Schoolboy.
It wasn't reciprocated. She saw it as a business. Schoolboy really thought of it as a family. That's kind of like the messed up part.
Yeah.
Do you guys, okay, so since we're talking about Schoolboy, I really feel like, she was just in a vulnerable state, and maybe Monica can detect who is vulnerable, and, and she can detect who is maybe people's vulnerability. And I just feel like Schoolboy was definitely in a vulnerable state.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think that there were some vulnerabilities there that she tapped into, and I wouldn't say, I don't want to say she took advantage of it, but she definitely used it in her advantage, so to speak, because I think she could have prevented Schoolboy from making that video. Because I think she was actually online when she was making the video. And
Yes, she was
so
on.
if she was really,
Yes.
yeah, so if she was really concerned about the backlash that she could possibly get, especially when she talked to Ples before and they mentioned that social media would go in on them, she at a certain point when things really spun out, she should have stepped in, text her, did something to tell Schoolboy to dial back off of that video. She just let her go. And then even on their live platform, she wanted her to elaborate more about her feelings and what caused her to cry. So she wanted her to go more into details about things that happened, even though she was feeling remorseful and she wanted to apologize about it. So it just seemed like she wanted to try to keep it going, even though Schoolboy, was trying to like move past it.
Yeah.
That
I don't know. I think it's something about those covers that just got Monica feeling herself too much, honestly.
the cover.
I
Mm.
just think so. Remember, she was under the covers. Like, she was shivering under this cover.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Now.
Mhm. Interesting. Another thing, I don't know if you guys really, there was something else about the interview yesterday, um, that was, hmm, did you guys actually think that Monica wanted to, and maybe this question was asked, but do you guys actually think that she wanted to clear herself yesterday? Or was that so up? I mean, what was her motives? Because it just seems to me that even the person who she brought to interview was on her side. And then know. I just don't know. To me right now, I don't think that Monica cares about, anyone else but herself. Unfortunately, and if Schoolboy, if she is listening, I just don't think that, I think that you guys were alone on this situation and this, in this business or this type of family. It was just only she was looking out for herself. Because now that everything fell in place, there was no apologies, no accountabilities. She didn't come out to defend you nor anyone. So I think that she was just all for self, right? So it was.
Exactly. And she even mentioned that Schoolboy and Marcella was still a part of the panel. So even though, Schoolboy and Marcella separately said their things about what they were going to do as far as continuing, she still stated that they were still a part of the panel. So I just hope if especially Schoolboy, if she comes back to the panel, that she's more cautious. I would reconsider it greatly, but I just hope she's more cautious if she decides to come back.
I think that Schoolboy should definitely take some time away from all of this, because it could be mentally draining, and it could just be yeah, it could definitely maybe look at yourself a little differently, right? Like, especially they said that she's 35, so you would think that at 35 years old, some people would have it figured out, but I don't think that. I think she's still trying to find herself and possibly find where she can, find maybe some love or some comfort, or just that type of love. And I think that she was looking for that in Monica, and she really took that all to her heart. So I really wish that, she definitely takes some time off and just figure things out, because I feel like this right here really hit her for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this kind
And
of sets the tone as well. Like,
mhm.
if this is how she treats them, like, imagine how she treat her daytime show if they ever like went off. Like for Buffy, for instance, she might try to recreate that whole married to medicine mess and attack her on fertility. Because remember, during Monica's
Mm.
life, she was like, "I have a family, I have a husband, God's greatest gifts," and it's like, "Are you serious?" Because Ples made a couple of videos and she also talked about her issues. So I'm like, "How this is okay to you?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah. Monica definitely knows what she was doing, because if we can all pinpoint this out, right? That means that we she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing exactly.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned that, Monica and Dr. Griffin actually went in on Ples, and mentioned that during one of her videos, Ples was talking about her history and some of the things that had happened in her life, and they was harping on it to the point that they were saying that she was on there crying, and if she's an attorney, she shouldn't be on there showing emotion, because if she was my attorney and she was crying, I will fire her and find another attorney. I mean, it was just crazy. And so my thing is, they're taking people personal issues or concerns or past traumas and history, and using it and manipulating it and using it to bring them down. But then Monica, in the same sense, was saying, "Oh, they're taking advantage of me and exploiting me, and they're using my personal pain right now to eat off of me. A lot of people are eating off of my pain right now." It was just ironic that she said that, even though they were going in on Ples.
Right. Even though Monica inflicted that pain, she didn't talk about that part.
Mm. I just thought that was really disgusting. And my thing is, Dr. Griffin, again, supposedly a pastor, um, a counselor, so to speak, in the church, that she would even take those aspects of that video and exploit it.
Yeah, it's and then also, if she does decide to like do another panel. These are some things they should, the upcoming panelists should really look into, right?
Mm-hmm.
How just the stuff that we said, like they, if they were to like, let some of their personal things that are going on in their personal life out, that it will be used against them, right? So yeah, I think that a lot is something that we should also consider when we're talking about, when we're speaking of credibility and when we're speaking about other things as well. So yeah, or trust, being able to trust. I think that's some of the things that they should consider. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard. It's going to be really hard. At least I think so. In my perspective, I don't know if anyone else is looking at it like from that direction. But I think it's going to be really hard for other people to really want to get on a panel with all of this happening.
Right. I can definitely see Wiley sticking around because he already admitted he didn't know anything about Ples or Bishop and he went in. So I can only imagine like what he'd do for $1 of a super chat.
Oh, he showed yesterday, last night, and the days before in his videos what he would do.
Well, that's her karma if it comes to her.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, he was going in really hard on Ples for no reason whatsoever. You would think that Ples had did something personal to him to warrant the attack that he was giving.
Yeah, I was just so kind of speaking on that, I was kind of like, what did she do? Like what you said, Nikki, like
Mm,
what exactly did Ples do to him in order for him to speak like you? I don't even think he even knows Ples. Um, what exactly did she do? That's like the real question. What did Ples do?
Right. I
And
just
I
think
don't
she's a real
believe
life
it's
troll.
anything. Hmm. Go ahead, dear.
Oh, is it Chanel or just Nell? Is it Chanel?
Yeah, Chanel, but I just go by now because it's way shorter.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, what you were going to say something? I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut. What were you going to say?
Oh no, I agreed. I say he's just a real life troll. Like he's just attacking anything that looks good at him. Like little Schmeagle. Little cousin. Schmeagle cousin.
I think he just reserved his spot on the panel. So maybe this is just like maybe this is going to be her new panel moving forward because you guys know Potomac is coming back on. So that obviously her channel was really big for Potomac. So that means more people are going to, if people do decide to go back over there, but people are going to be, it's going to drive traffic.
Mm,
Yeah, because Potomac is coming on in July.
right. But with the way that the doctor showed her unbiasedness last night with that interview, the fact that her and Giselle don't get, they don't get along from what was presented on that platform before. Do you think that she's probably, if she is a part of that platform, whether or not she's aligning people that will project a certain viewpoint when it comes to the celebrities on that particular show? Because my thing is, how can you have a biased opinion when we already know you don't like the people on the show?
That's a good point. I don't know. She kind of boring to me. I would have rather them up and at him with that little dun 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 little background music he was doing for Fallon. So I don't know how that's gonna work for her.
Mm.
Interesting. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Someone mentioned that.
Oh,
I think. Oh, go ahead, Sim.
no, I was gonna say, do you guys remember that they mentioned something, that Monica mentioned something about that Ponderosa meeting that they had that supposedly no one brought anything to the table as far as admitting that they had issues with the group or within the group. You remember that?
I thought that was a lie for some reason. My spirit just told me she's just lying.
Yeah, because I was going to mention that she brought up some stuff about Princess, and she went in on Princess, even though Princess hasn't said a word about
Right.
Monica.
Princess actually praised her. So I kind of thought that was weird. Like
Yeah,
she said nobody had any issues and now everyone has. That felt kind of sketchy to me. I don't know.
yeah, because I was like, why is she bringing up Princess and bashing Princess when Princess hasn't said anything throughout the whole scenario? And she was trying to make it seem like Princess was keeping up trouble between um Schoolboy, and she was investigating her, trying to find out exactly who she was.
Yeah, I think this all just like Monica is not. She's not loyal. She's not loyal.
Mm.
She's loyal. But again, everything that's done in the dark always comes to light. Like it's just exposure. So again, I mean, she has a huge platform. I mean, so I know that she'll definitely lose some subscribers. However, there's still going to be views. She's still going to be getting views, of course. But it's just like now, how do we move forward? Like, will her supporters, subscribers, because even yesterday, I don't know if the live, some of her subscribers and members were telling her to just apologize, and so we can move forward. But again, we still didn't get that. So who knows?
Yeah, she deleted a lot of those too. I was watching. I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were deleting a lot of comments. I just saw a comment from someone that was saying I think it's to be Black Native. She was saying, yes, the teacups called on a comment about Ples listening to God. Then why didn't she listen about Jamal? I think she was talking about the doctor, because the doctor was talking about Ples mentioning that she was listening to God about making her next move. And that's kind of ironic, because when she said that, I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, you're talking about someone listening to the voice of God, but yet you're a pastor and you don't always listen. That's crazy.
I thought that was amazing.
Hypocritical. Very hypocritical.
Oh my God.
When God tells you something, you better listen. She didn't want to listen, so she might be, you know, might have more in common with Giselle than she knows.
I think she is probably. I know I cut off when we were talking about the Giselle situation or so. I think she probably is just trying to line up people, because against Giselle. But I'm like, I mean, it's Jizzy. Like, what is? I mean, I don't know. Maybe Jizzy has something in store this upcoming season of Potomac.
I like
I
that
don't know.
nickname,
Hopefully,
Dizzy.
or maybe
Yeah,
her neck will shrink. I feel like whenever she's nice, her like neck shrinks a bit. But every time she's mean, it just gets longer and longer.
yeah. That's the nickname for Giselle. Like, people call her Jizzy. Giselle. Jizzy. Yeah. But yeah, anything else? Because we are going to, I think we've been on here for almost 2 hours. So we're going to try to wrap it up. It was so good hearing all of you guys' perspective on this whole situation in this interview. I know there's so much to talk about and so much to ravel. I think she's going to come back on today. So we'll see what else goes on. I think if you are just coming in or if you're watching the replay, we discussed our thoughts and everything, everything we've said and stuff. And my guys, everything we said is all in our opinion. Everything is alleged. So please don't take it too close to heart, okay? So I think we're going to be ending here. Any last minute thoughts?
Do you think Monica's gonna apologize today?
Um, Maybe.
I will be
Maybe.
totally surprised if she did. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I don't think we're getting any apologies. I'm sorry. It's obvious we're not, because if that was the case, she wouldn't have been trying to defend herself in those and trying to clean up those gaps and errors that was missing in her story. So as far as apologies, no. So she should have started out with schoolboy, right, from the beginning. But no.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So we're just looking at we're just we're just watching. Like there's not going to be an apology. No.
Mm-mm. I don't think so either. I
Mhm.
just wanted to say congratulations, ladies, on making 1,000 subscribers.
Yay!
But we want to
Yeah.
say thank you all, actually, our supporters, our subscribers, our new subbies. Like, thank you all so much. We could not do this without you all. We really appreciate it, like all your love and support. It really means a lot to us.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Oh my God. I was just sounding like, wow, we're at 100, 100, no, 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody. Thank you guys who came on here on the live. Thank you, Chanel. Thank you, Nikki. We really appreciate you guys all coming on here, sharing your thoughts and opinions. Like, we always like to talk about the shows, what's going on. So we really appreciate and we thank everybody who is in the chats. We are seeing your chats. I know it's going by so fast, but we really appreciate it, guys. And I think that is going to be the end. So if you guys have any last minute things or anything you would like to say, we will definitely answer in the chat. So we appreciate that. Oh, thank you, No. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you. Congratulations. Oh, thank you, Corey. So I think that is going to be the end of it. Lucy, do you have anything else to say? Any last minute things?
No, I just want to say thank you again. We're gonna do this more often. So yeah.
And we will keep you guys updated if anything happens. And we make like short little videos here and there. So anything happens, we'll keep you guys updated. So
Good
yes, all right.
conversation, ladies. I enjoyed it.
It was great talking to you too, Nikki and Chanel. Thank
Thanks.
you guys. We so much appreciate it. All right. Bye everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.